On February 6, 2014, 5 Finnish cave divers, experienced in navigating the challenging, dangerous environments of flooded caves, set out on a perilous expedition to explore a deep and largely unexplored section of the Plura Cave system in Norway. The cave system, located in the Helgeland region, is renowned for its dangerous conditions and complex underwater passages. It runs horizontally for about 100 meters underground and reaches depths exceeding 130 meters. The team, which had previously explored this cave system in other areas, was familiar with the complexities and risks of cave diving. However, they were about to face a challenge that would push them to their limits and beyond. Among the 5 divers, Patrick Grönqvist and Jari Huotarinen had explored this cave system the year before, though they had not ventured into the deeper sections of Plura. This time, their goal was to explore a particularly hazardous and little explored passage. The dive was carefully planned, with the understanding that it would take approximately 5 hours to complete. The cave system's cold, dark waters and tight, unpredictable passages would prove to be more dangerous than anyone anticipated. The team began their dive through a small opening at the bottom of a pond, and they proceeded along a series of narrow underwater tunnels that led deeper into the cave. The water was frigid, and visibility was minimal. As they traveled toward the farthest reaches of the cave, the divers encountered various obstacles. Everything seemed to be proceeding as planned until, about 3/4 of the way through, disaster struck. One of the divers, trapped in his own equipment, became unable to continue. Overcome with panic, the diver made an error that led to a fatal accident. The team could do nothing to save him, and the first tragedy unfolded in the depths of the cave. Despite this tragic loss, the remaining divers decided to continue with the dive. They knew the situation had become more dangerous, but they were determined to complete the mission. As they reached the final stretch of the dive, another terrifying obstacle appeared. The body of another diver had become stuck in a narrow passage. In an attempt to move the body, one of the remaining divers suffered from carbon dioxide poisoning. This caused him to lose consciousness and drown in the cold, murky waters. The remaining 3 divers, severely shaken and aware of the growing risks, made their way back to the surface. What was supposed to be a 5-hour dive turned into an exhausting 11-hour ordeal. All 3 survivors emerged from the water, suffering from severe decompression sickness, a dangerous condition caused by the rapid ascent from deep underwater. In the aftermath of the tragic dive, authorities were informed about the accident, and the bodies of Huotarinen and Usamaki, the 2 deceased divers, remained in the cave. Given the treacherous and unforgiving conditions of the cave, Norwegian authorities deemed it too dangerous to attempt a recovery mission. While some believed it was better to leave the bodies where they lay, the survivors, especially Patrick Grönqvist, felt that bringing their friends' bodies to the surface was crucial for providing closure to their families and the diving community. Additionally, they wanted to ensure that the cave system could be safely reopened for future explorations. However, the survivors knew that seeking official permission for the recovery operation would almost certainly result in a denial, given the inherent risks involved in such a dangerous mission. Instead, they made the decision to proceed covertly. Grönqvist and his fellow survivors carefully planned a daring rescue mission to retrieve the bodies of their fallen comrades. On March 22, 2014, after weeks of preparation, a team of 27 divers, including Grönqvist, Huotarinen, and Kankinen, embarked on the recovery mission. They knew the operation would be fraught with danger, as they would have to navigate the same perilous underwater passages where their friends had met their tragic fate. The team also had to deal with extreme cold, reduced visibility, and the challenge of maneuvering the bodies through the tight, claustrophobic tunnels. The recovery operation, which took 4 days and over 100 hours of total diving time, was grueling. Divers had to dive to depths of more than 130 meters, face the challenges of the water's extreme cold, and traverse narrow tunnels filled with mud and silt. Eventually, After hours of painstaking effort, the bodies of Huotarinen and Usimaki were successfully recovered and brought to the surface. While the operation was hailed as a courageous and heroic effort by the divers, it was not without controversy. Norwegian authorities, upon learning of the recovery mission, declared that it was illegal to carry out the operation without official approval. However, despite the risks and the legal implications, no charges were brought against the survivors or the recovery team. The bodies of the two divers were returned to their families, giving them the closure they desperately needed. Though the Plura Cave system was later reopened to other divers, the tragic events of February 6, 2014, left a lasting impact on those involved in the dive and on the diving community as a whole. For the survivors, the emotional scars were deep, and the haunting memory of the mission would never leave them. However, their respect for the sport of cave diving remained unchanged. The tragedy not only altered the course of their lives, but also reshaped their perspective on the risks of cave diving and the need for careful planning, preparation, and respect for the dangers involved. The experience of the Plura rescue left unanswered questions, and for the survivors, the emotional journey was far from over. The memories of their fallen friends, the danger they faced, and the determination to bring closure to their families continued to drive them. The Plura Cave had claimed 2 lives, but the survivors' resolve to honor their friend's memory would ensure that their legacy lived on.